Cute. I love cats.
So welcome to our Using Kerrii series. Today our webinar is on working with the store shelf. So we're going to get started. I'm going to... Are you seeing my screen, my slideshow there, Cassandra?
I am.
Okay, perfect. So just so you know, my name's Bernadette Ann. I'm the VP of Marketing Support, and this is my contact information. And this is our agenda today. So what we're going to be looking at is what the store shelf is, how to create items in the store shelf, attach our point of sale items from inventory to a store item, importing store items from inventory, and adding services to the store shelf. So that's kind of what we're covering today. Cassandra, is there anything specific in relation to the store shelf that you had questions about?
Not yet, but I know I will once it gets synced up with Square.
Okay. Absolutely, yeah. Once we do the Square integration, I'm sure you'll have quite a few questions. We'll go ahead and we're going to get started. So what I want to just begin with, of course, is what the store shelf is. So the store shelf is actually the public face of your point of sale inventory items. And if we recall correctly, our point of sale inventory items, those are the items in our inventory that we sell directly to customers. So if we take a look at Kerrii and we're looking at our inventory list. So let's take a look at a tea here. So we've got a cold and flu tea. You can see in our inventory list under the description, I have the different herbs that I've put into this product. I have also a particular price. So this price here, when I made this product, it cost me, my retail price came out at $25. And then when I made the same product at another time, the retail price came out at $28.45. So as a maker, this information up here in the description is important to me. And we're also going to be adding notes fields as well in the future. So this information I'm going to want to have, but I don't want my customers to see it. The same thing with my price. So I'm going to want to know what my ideal retail price for this product is based on the price of the ingredients, but I want my customer to see the same price all the time. Just because the price of my verbascum thapsus went up, and that caused this to change my price to $28.45 from $25, but my customers are going to want to see that $25 all the time on their invoices. So what happens with the store shelf is it allows you to maintain this information that you need as a maker for a particular product, but then you can go ahead and you can have a different face to your item that is what will appear on the invoice. So I'm just thinking, I've got a calming tea here. There we go. Or let's do the 75-gram one, actually. Let me pull that one up. I think that will give us a better look. Is this the one that I want? Yes, perfect. Okay, so here we have those two items that we saw in inventory, and they're attached to this store shelf item. So this is what we saw in the inventory list. This is what your customers are going to see on their invoice. So you can see it has that $25 price, which is how much it cost the first time I made it. But when I go in and I've used up all of these, I've sold all of these with this lot number, the WG lot number. The next lot number that Kerrii is going to grab and then for us to sell to our customers, it will still have the same price, even though the price listed here is $28.45. On the invoice, they will still see $25. So are there any questions about what the store shelf is?
Nope, it makes sense. It's like a virtual short store shelf.
Yeah, it's like a virtual store shelf.
Yeah.
And I kind of like to call it like it's the Sunday store clothes. It's like your Sunday clothes for your product, right? It's the nice dressy side of your product instead of just, you know, the overalls side of your product, which is the stuff that you need as the maker. All right, so now we kind of have an idea of what our inventory item is. The nice thing, and just a quick review, it allows you to have different information appear in the inventory list versus what they see on their invoice. It allows you to have consistent pricing regardless of what happens to the price of your herbs. And it's also in the future will be the way that Kerrii will communicate with e-commerce sites. That will happen through the store shelf. So let's look at how to create items in the store shelf. So a very simple way to do this is to go into the store shelf. So we click store shelf on our left-hand menu, and then we go up to new, and then we choose item. So we need to give it a name. Okay, so I've got a feel good tea, 100 grams, a description. So I want my customers to know that this is simply a blended tea. And then you need a SKU. So a SKU, like a lot number, is a unique identifier for the product. The difference between the SKU and the lot number is the lot number is something that's used to track an individual ingredient or product throughout its entire life. So even when that product or that material leaves your store and you sell it to somebody else, that lot number remains as a way that you can track back and find that product again. It's very important when it comes to recalling products. That lot number allows you to keep track of that product for the entire life. The SKU is different. So the SKU is actually an internal identification number. So it's a number that's just used by you as the maker. It appears on the orders and the invoices. And basically what it is designed or is supposed to let you do is very quickly by looking at the SKU gain information about that product. So you don't have to read all of the information. You can just read this little code that you create and you're good to go. Not everybody likes to use SKUs. Some people don't find it useful. They put enough information in their name and description and they can read it. But it does allow a way for you as a maker to uniquely identify a product that you sell. And so that's why we've included SKUs here with the store shelf. Some e-commerce sites will use SKUs as well. So another reason why we wanted to include them. It's up to you. You can certainly go online, you can search SKUs and find all sorts of information about how to create effective and usable SKUs, or you can just type in some gobbledygook, entirely up to you. So I actually have usable SKUs that I use for my business. Whoops, let's try that. Okay, and then the price for this is going to be, what am I going to charge for this tea? Oh, let's see, $20. And we're going to click save. And then I'm going to also upload an image. There's a tea bag. And so now I have my feel good tea that's been added to the store shelf. So if I look, here's my feel good tea, 100 grams right here. And so that's the simplest way to create a store item. Once the store item is created, then you can start adding or attaching inventory items to it. There any questions about that, Cassandra?
Nope. I tried it myself and it was really easy to do. And the image, I think the image was pretty easy to upload. I thought maybe I had a, what kind of images can you take? Is it just supposed to be JPEG and?
So it's your standard images, right? So PNG,
Yeah.
JPEG, all of the standard image file types it will take.
Does it have to be a certain size, like 100 by 100 or anything?
No, when you put your image in, Kerrii will scale it for you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to show you is a way that you can create a lot of items all at once. So let's say, for instance, you've just started using Kerrii and you've imported all of your inventory into Kerrii, and you're going, okay, well, now I've got all these point of sale items that I want to be able to sell to customers, and you can't put them on invoices unless they are attached to a store shelf item. So what do I do now? I don't want to create them one by one. You can do what we call an import. So underneath that new button in the store shelf, there's an import button. If you hit import, it will list for you all of the items you have sitting in inventory that aren't currently attached to a store shelf item. So I can pick which ones I want to import. So I'm going to just import this one, and this one. No, not that one. I'll import this one. Yeah, that one. So I'm going to click next. So it lists here all of the things you're going to import, and has their lot numbers, their prices, and then it gives you a SKU. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to use the SKU generate button just for the sake of time. So if you want to, you can manually put yours in. Once you've done that, you click the next button. So it now tells you, hey, these are the items, these are the SKUs. Are you ready to go? And if I say yes, I click finish. Boom, and it's gone ahead and added them for me. So if I look for that PMS, there's the immune elixir right here. There's the feel good salve right here. And I think there's a PMS tea, yeah, right here. So all of them have now been added. You'll notice that they have a quantity as well. So when we added the new one, there was no quantity. And if we go in here, so it's taken this from the inventory, attached it to this, created this store shelf item, and then automatically attached it for us. So it's done it all in one step, which is really nice. Are there any questions about taking stuff from the inventory and then creating new store shelf items for them?
No, that looked pretty easy, and it looked like you could change the price.
Yes, you can.
Too.
You can change and edit the price however you like. One thing that's important to note, though, is the quantity. So my feel good salve quantity. So this quantity right here comes from the inventory. So I can't actually change it here, and I can't change it here. If I want to change the inventory amounts that I actually have to go to that inventory item. So I have to go to feel good salve 50, and that's, let's go to inventory and find it.
And then once you update it, then it updates the store shelf.
Yeah, exactly. So if I go in here, so we can see at the bottom here, see how it's blank? That's because this feel good salve is not attached to the store shelf yet. If I go here, this is the one that was attached. See, it's down here. So now I can change my quantities to 2. And then if I go in here, now it says 2 right there.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how you change the quantities. All right. So that's how we create our items. Now we're going to look at attaching our point of sale. Oh, there's one more way to create items before I forget. So in addition to doing it from the store shelf, you can also attach or create new store shelf items on the fly while you're working. So for instance, if I decide that I'm going to go ahead and produce this bedtime formula out of my drafts, if I go to packaging, and I'm going to go ahead and add my packaging. And if you wonder what I'm doing here, we do have another webinar recording on creating formulas, and I suggest that you watch that one. Okay, so right here, you can see it gives me the option to add to the store shelf. And when I do that, I can then create a new item right here. And that's our new item dialog that we had before. Or I can go in and attach it to an item that already exists in the store shelf.
Nice.
And that's the same is the case not only for when you're producing a formula, but also if you are packaging bulk product. So anytime you're doing something where you're creating a point of sale item, you will have the option as you're doing it, going through the process, to attach the item to the store shelf then. Or you can go ahead and you can leave it off the store shelf. So your point of sale inventory items do not have to be added to the store shelf. They can be sitting in your inventory, and then you can add them at a later time when you want to make them available to your customers. So maybe you've got a launch for something and you want to make sure that the people you work with don't accidentally sell something to a customer, a new product before the launch date. You can not add it to the store shelf, just leave it in inventory and then add it later. Any questions about that?
No, thanks.
It's pretty straightforward. The other thing we're going to look at is how to add items to the store shelf from within inventory. So as I showed you earlier, when you open up your point of sale items, so let's see if this one's in there yet. So any one of your point of sale items, when you get down to the bottom, you can see that's if it's added to the store shelf, it will tell you. So it says it's chakra stones. This is a SKU. You can remove any of these items. If for some reason you don't want to have these available to sell to customers, you can just remove them and then you can add them back in. Now, sometimes, so if you have a situation where you've gotten a big, huge inventory order in, and you've gone and you've used the import feature to import all these items into your inventory list, now you want to attach them to existing items that are sitting in the store shelf. So this isn't, you're not creating new items, you're adding to existing items. You can use this button up here that says add to shelf, and this is from your inventory list. And what it does is it pulls up all the items that aren't currently attached to something in your inventory list. There's our Feel Good 100T. Remember that one? That's the one that we inventory item we created earlier. So I'm just going to click in the text box. And then I'm going to scroll through. These are all of our different store shelf items. I'm going to grab that 100 gram tea. And of course, we could do all of these if we wished. And then I'm going to click next. And it's just confirming that I want to take this item and attach it to this store shelf item. Yes, I do. So now I'm going to click finish. So now if I go into that Feel Good Tea, I think it was this 100. And we can see that now it is actually attached to a store shelf item, whereas before it wasn't. Any questions about that?
Nope.
So these are some things that I wanted to point out about the store shelf. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is how to attach services and then how to delete things. So it's important to know that you cannot add an item to an invoice unless it's attached to a store item. If it's not there in the store shelf, you won't be able to put it on the invoice. You can only attach point of sale inventory items. So any you won't be able to attach a bulk product. You're not going to be able to attach a formula or maceration, or a raw material. The only thing you can attach is point of sale inventory items. And as I showed you before, that the store item quantities have to be changed from within the inventory list. You can't change them in the store shelf. And then also important to note that any price you have for a store item, it will override the price in the inventory list. And as I mentioned before, not all point of sale inventory items have to be attached to a store item, and not all store items have to have a point of sale inventory item attached to them. Any questions about these little things to know? And then just to keep in mind, right? These are all things that help you remember how it is that the store shelf works. Okay, so what I'm going to show you next is how to add a service to the store shelf. So one of the things that's kind of handy about Kerrii is if you do like an herbal consult and you do it over and over and over and over again, and you want to be able to put, instead of typing herbal consult into your invoices all the time, you would like to just select it from the drop-down list. You're able to do that, and just by creating the service inside the store shelf. So if I say new item, so for instance, if I want to say health coaching, and I'm going to say 30, it's a 30-minute coaching. There's my SKU, and for a 30-minute health coach, I charge $40. And then what you do is right down here, it says this item is a service. So you click this little checkbox and then click save. And then if you want to, you can upload an image for the service. Now, the reason that we have it separate like this is because for services, you don't have to have an inventory item attached to it. So you don't have to create like a fake inventory item and then say, okay, well, I've got, I have health coaching, and then give it a fake inventory number of like 999 and then not be able to find it when you get to 999 coaching sessions. So by doing it this way and creating it within the store shelf, and it's checking that little checkbox, it means that it doesn't have to be attached to an inventory item, and it won't deduct anything from inventory, and it will go ahead and just slap that item onto the invoice. Any questions about using services?
No, it's great option.
Yeah, it's super handy, especially if you have the same services that you're providing over and over and over again, and you want to be able to use Kerrii to track your income. That's what I do is Kerrii tracks all my income. Everything that I do, I put in Kerrii, even my consults. So it just makes it so much easier to do that.
How does it track? I don't know if I'm getting off track there, but I don't know if I've seen the screen where it shows.
That is next week's webinar, where we're doing invoices and reporting.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's that little bit. And then the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is deleting items in the store shelf.
Yeah.
So if we, for instance, go up to our calming tea, and if we try and so to delete the store shelf item, we would click here to say remove from store, and we're going to click OK, and then we're going to click save. But you notice that there's not too much that happens. So if I hit close, well, wait a minute, it's still there. Why is it still there? Well, the reason it's still there is because you've got 3 items attached to it. So before you can actually remove an item from the store shelf, you have to either detach the inventory items from it, or you have to have sold everything, and so that there's nothing showing up in this inventory list. So if we go to the inventory list now, and we find our COMT 25, and then I'm going to say remove from the shelf. And now if I go back to the store, there's my Calming Tea 25. We can see the quantity is now at 0. So now if I click remove store, and it's really important to remember to hit save. I know it's a little awkward, but that's how it works. You click save, and then you hit close, and then it's gone.
Nice.
So yeah, so you have to remember to hit save and you have to remember to click close, and then it will remove the item from the store shelf. Any questions about that?
No, I think we'll be using that though.
Everybody does. Okay, so we already talked about this and adding services. So that is the webinar for today.
Yay.
Let me stop the recording.